Hello, everybody, and a warm welcome to the iRise show with myself, Ashok Gupta, and with my special guest today, Honor Celestino. We're very privileged and excited that she's come onto the iRise platform to join us today for an exclusive interview. And first of all, people will be asking, Ashok, why are you in a car today, right? And I just want to explain what's happened. So this is one of the things that the show must go on, as they say. So we actually had a power cut in my local area in the iRise studios in North London. And so I had to jump into my car and drive around to the nearest place where there wasn't a power cut because we've had storms just today. And so we've made sure that we're here for you to make sure you can experience Honor's fantastic wisdom. So we've managed to get all of that sorted. So introducing Honor. So Honor is one of our special content providers here on the iRise platform. And Honor literally wrote the book on change. She's the author of Igniting Change, From Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. Her life has been a fascinating leaps off the proverbial cliff, and she grew up in the Midwest, left college and moved to California to work in the entertainment industry. And several years later, she left her job at the Walt Disney Company, where she coordinated a year-long international promotion celebrating Mickey Mouse's birthday, to go in search of meaning. How powerful is that? And she spent 11 years living in residence, studying and eventually teaching consciousness. Yeah. So she believes in practical spirituality and is an advocate for living in the moment. So welcome to you, Honor. How are you?
Very well. I think I'm doing a little better than you might be right now.
Yes.
I hope you're warm there.
Yes, I think it should be okay. If not, I'll be turning the car back on to get the heating on. But all good for the moment. And yes, and actually, funny enough, just reading your bio, it's very interesting how life throws us these curveballs just when we think everything's going to be okay, to really test our levels of centeredness. And certainly, I've worked in the past with kind of newsrooms and broadcast centers, and this is what it's like. It's quite chaotic because things go wrong at the last minute. So yes, we have to find our center in that moment to keep the calm when everyone's losing their heads. So important, isn't it?
Yeah, I worked in television production, and you had to have backup plans for backup plans for backup plans, because once you got that crew there and the clock started ticking, it was a lot of money, and you just couldn't afford to have anything go wrong. You had to be prepared for anything. So appreciate you being this versatile and jumping in your car. And like, as you say, the show must go on.
The show must go on. That's what they always say. So, Anna, I'm just so intrigued by your bio and your background, and love to find out more about kind of your involvement in the kind of transformation industry. And generally, certainly myself and many of the other providers on iRise, they've been for a journey themselves, something that's perhaps a big challenge in their lives, or something which has really shifted their perspective on life. When was it that you first realized, okay, this is what I want to do in life, that supporting people through personal transformation is really my purpose? How did you discover that?
I think it was a slow build. Honestly, I had the job at Disney, and, I thought that was my path. I wanted to work in entertainment, and it was very glamorous. And I thought, that's what I really wanted to do. And my last job in that business was working at the Walt Disney Company. And I ended up in a position where I created sort of their synergy department. And so we got handed Mickey Mouse's 60th birthday, and they said, okay, get everybody in the company involved in this. We want everybody participating. So I was working with people all over the world in our company, and we had a year-long promotion. It was a big event. And I loved the challenge of it. I had never worked on anything that large before. And I loved the challenge of it. But by the end of the time when we actually finally, Mickey blew out the candles on his birthday, I was completely drained. There was nothing left. I was just completely exhausted. And a friend of mine said to me, you're stressing yourself out over a mouse that doesn't even exist. And that was sort of the moment where I said, right, little perspective there. And so, after the birthday was finished, I just thought there's just got to be more to life than this. And that's when I sort of went in search of something more, and through a series of circumstances ended up in the spiritual community which I thought I'd stay there for 3 months and ended up being there for 11 years. And that sort of put me on that path of really, exploring the more deeper aspects of life.
Fascinating. What a fascinating juxtaposition of working for, Mickey Mouse and the Walt Disney Company, and then moving to a spiritual community. I mean, what a wide variety of experiences you must have had. It actually reminds me of a very funny story. So I took my nephews to Disney World many years ago, and it was actually in Paris, and we queued up for so long to go and meet Mickey Mouse. It was one of those times where they weren't just walking freely around the park. So we queued up for about 45 minutes, and I'm thinking, gosh, it's a very long queue just to meet Mickey Mouse for a minute. And my nephews are so excited. It's a bit like life, you're so excited to have something happen. And then finally, when they got there, my nephew looked at Mickey Mouse and said, "Who is this strange guy? I am not shaking this guy's hand. I am not giving him a hug." And he was hiding away. And it often happens in life. We build ourselves up, don't we? This big attachment, this big moment, and then suddenly, something shifts and something changes, and actually, it's not what we kind of expected. It's not that big build up or that big sense of positivity or relief that we kind of expected from it.
Well, and I think, when I look back on my time at Disney, the things that I really remember are the moments of connection with people, where there was actually something real happening there. It wasn't the anticipation or the glamour or all the things that went around it. It was in those moments of just a deeper connection with people. And so I think you're right. I think we can anticipate and imagine all of these things, but as they say, it's the journey. It's not it's not the destination.
Yeah, absolutely. And then in your time in the spiritual community, I'd love to find out more about that. What kind of experiences did you have in that kind of environment that really propelled you along this path? How is it different to normal life?
Well, I think, probably one of the biggest things is we'd have, talks and things where we would be, given some spiritual teachings or something like that. And then we would all have the week to think about it, integrate it. And I think that's a difference, is that we were always learning and integrating and learning and integrating. So what we had a chance, things were moving slowly enough that we had a chance to really be with the information we were getting, and then put it into practice, whether we were doing dishes or I worked in the garden for a while, which was a switch from working at Disney, but there I was in the garden, and I loved that. So, I think one of the things was just being able to slow down, really be able to, listen to myself. I think that was another thing. I think, a lot of what we do in life, we're just keeping that show and dance going to, I'm okay. And then finally you stop and everything slows down, and those shadow voices get a chance to be heard. And all of a sudden you're going, oh gosh, I'm not okay. This is, you start hearing things from your past. You start just hearing your inner voice. And I think when we actually get a chance to do that, we get to clear some stuff up, which was very helpful.
Yeah, Anna, it's really interesting hearing you speak about it in this way, that so many of us are chasing our tail. And so many people who contact us at iRise, they say, I'm just literally living life on the edge because I'm so busy with family or work or the kids, and I don't have a moment to myself. And that's actually one of the reasons we created iRise was, is there something that's just on your phone that you've got 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there? Can I pop in and do a meditation? Can I pop in for a bit of wisdom? Because unfortunately, that's the way the world is right now. We only have these kind of pockets of small moments that we can develop ourselves and take a moment. And I think also, as you say, we don't have that time because of the distractions of life, our phones. If we have a moment in the doctor's surgery or waiting for a bus, we don't reflect or have time to become aware of our emotions. We're jumping to distractions on our phones or on our tablets straight away. And that takes us away from actually going inwards. And I'm getting that in this spiritual community, you had the opportunity to really deeply go inwards and reflect.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I trained in shadow work facilitation as well. And so sometimes I think, if you're a spiritual person, you're supposed to be bright and shiny. And sometimes I'm a little dark and twisty. You know, it's like I don't mind going into the darker places in myself. And I think, you know, one of the reasons we're so quick to grab our phones is because we don't want to hear, you know, we don't want to hear what's actually going on. Funny story. After I got divorced, at the end of my time at the community, I left the community. I also got a divorce. And, you know, my husband and I used to have these, you know, regular arguments. And when I left the community and moved back to Los Angeles and was living by myself, I realized I was having the same arguments with myself. I was having the same critical voices come up that I was imposing on him, you know, how I handled my money or how, you know, what I did with my time or all of these things. And I realized in that quiet space in my time at home alone, those were the shadow voices that were going on, and it didn't have anything to do. I mean, some things had to do with my husband, but a lot of the stuff was me. And I think that's a big part of, that's sort of the combo that I work with in my coaching, is not only the tools and things that we can use to learn how to be more present, but also tools to be able to, you know, tap into those inner voices, the shadow things, the shadow voices that keep us from having what we want. You know, I can say I want a relationship, or I can say I want $1 million, or whatever that might be. But if I don't feel deserving, if I don't feel worthy, if I have critical voices going on, I don't care how good your manifesting skills are, it's not going to happen. Yes. So I think, you know, I think that's a big part of it too, is being in that quiet time, not only being willing to meditate, which is wonderful, but also, you know, hear what's going on, listen to what your inner voice is saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually did a show just a couple of weeks ago around meditation, and saying that the ability of meditation to calm and bring you into the moment is the first step of what meditation actually brings into our lives. And actually, it's the next step of the insights into our patterns, our way of thinking, to maintain more of that observer position and to work on ourselves, as you say, that kind of shadow work. I'm sure everyone would love to know, what do you mean by shadow work, and what is shadow work for those people who might be new to that area?
Yeah, well, I trained with a man named Cliff Berry, who developed a particular shadow work program. He worked with 4 archetypes and 4 core wounds, and then 4 processes to help us heal those four wounds. So I still work a lot with his map of the mind, like the 4 archetypes. I understand the 4 wounds that each of those archetypes have. That's the lover, warrior, magician, and the sovereign. So I understand, I work with those, but more generally, I think the shadow is just a part of ourselves that we usually can't see. You know, it's the parts of ourselves that drive us in certain ways. So if I have a doubt about myself, if I have self-doubt, or if I have a particular fear, I may not be aware of it, but it may be driving my choices. And so that's where we want to shine a light on those parts of ourselves that we've been unaware of, but they're still dictating how we live our lives. And we want to, you know, clear those voices out. I have a tool for that. I love, you know, really simple tools. I have a tool called the emotional workout. And when you have an issue that you're working with, you run the course. It's like, you know, what do I feel sad about? What do I feel angry about? What am I worried about? What am I embarrassed about? We run the whole process, simple, but, you know, you bring all of those feelings out into the light so you can see them, and then, you know, decide, is this true for me or not? And if it's not true anymore, then you make a different choice.
Yeah, absolutely. It reminds me of a message I had, which was around, you know, the closer that we get to the light, the lighter side of ourselves, the smaller the shadow becomes. But the further we come away from the light, the longer our shadow becomes. So becoming aware of that shadow and how it might be impacting our spiritual growth is so incredibly important. As we say, you know, going closer to the light and bringing that light up within us is one part of it. Absolutely. And we live sometimes in a kind of toxic positivity culture as well, where it's like, because of social media, Instagram, Facebook, we've got to present this perfect face to the outer world and convince ourselves internally that that is the, you know, the perfect world, that is true for us, when actually it's not. And so I really love the work that you're doing around really getting people to be honest and truthful, going inwards and connecting with that. And I really encourage people to check out a lot of Honor's courses on the iRise platform, because they're very profound, very deep. I've watched some of the content, and I'd love for you to experience it as well. So we're in conversation here with Honor Francesco Celestino, a beautiful name, by the way. It's a very angelic name. I love your name. And soon, in about 10 minutes or so, 10 to 15 minutes, we'll be going live onto the iRise platform for a Q&A with Honor, a very special opportunity for ask her questions about her courses, her background, her beautiful and wonderful insights on living life. So you can join us at iriseapp.com/live-events. So simply go to iriseapp.com, click on the live events tab, and you'll see a Zoom link there, and we'll be doing a Q&A with Honor. So I hope you can join us for that. And yes, some of you are asking, you know, why am I presenting in a car? As mentioned, just 20 minutes before the interview, I was actually in a massive storm in my local area, and all the electrics went out. So I had to jump in my car with my laptop and find an area where we had a connection. A bit of a metaphor for life there, that when storms are coming your way, move towards the light, find the light, and it will find you. That's a
find the connection. Yeah. Find the connection. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. We often lose connection to our spiritual selves because of, once again, getting bogged down or involved in the day-to-days of life, the ups and downs, the pressures of life, and actually find the connection. It's there. It's always there. Yeah.
I had a funny thing happen this morning. I live in the Pacific Northwest, and I heard this goose. And I looked out the window, and there was a goose on the rooftop right next to me, and it was just, you know, squawking away. And I realized that was like a metaphor. It's like, when you feel lost, make some noise. And he was just up there honking away. And then eventually his friends came, and off he went. So I thought, well, that's another good metaphor. It's like, when you feel lost, make a little noise, your friends will find you.
Yes, get the help and support that you need. So is that going to be one of the tools? Put your head out the window and squawk as loud as you can. Absolutely. So, Honor, we're now in this self-love awareness week. So to celebrate Valentine's, we thought, let's talk about how relationships and the base of relationships that can make them work. Often it's about self-love and self-awareness. And so many teachers of transformation and so many relationship experts focus on the interrelational aspect. But actually, it's missing a very important point, which is a lot of relationship disruption can come from our own inner wounding or core self that is impacting on the interrelational. And so I talked today about the greatest relationship that you could ever have. And I'm so intrigued by that title. How does self-love relate to kind of relationships, Valentine's Day? How do you see that connection?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, relationships are not my topic. That's not my strong suit. So I was glad that we were kind of taking this in a little bit different direction. And for me, you know, this comes back to consciousness and awareness. And to me, the greatest relationship that we can have is, well, first of all, with ourselves, but then I think also our relationship with life. I think life is always just standing by at the ready, wanting to participate with us, wanting to create something with us. And I think so many times we don't think about it, or we don't know how to make that connection with life. And we end up struggling and trying to do everything on our own power, when if we can get in the flow with life, it's like the full force of life comes behind us. And we probably all had moments where magic happens, you know, and that's because we're in the moment with life. And I always talk about how we don't have to know how, we just have to know what. We need to know what we want. And then life comes and says, okay, great, here's, you know, and finds a way to make that happen.
That's a beautiful point, that so many of us are thinking, you know, how will I make my relationships work? How will I make my business work? Whereas actually, if we focus on that relationship with ourselves and that inner relationship, then we don't need to necessarily answer the how. Yeah, it's about the what, and what is it that's driving us? What is our kind of purpose? And just want to remind everybody that Honor very kindly is presenting a workshop live on iRise on Thursday, the 24th of February. That's at 7 p.m. UK, 11 a.m. PST. That's 2 p.m. Eastern. And the title of that workshop is The Greatest Relationship You'll Ever Have. And once again, it will be on the iRise platform. So please do join us for that at iriseapp.com, or you can go to App Store and Play Store, type in iRise app, and you can download the app and see all the different things that we have to offer you. And once again, iRise has over 600 courses and classes, lots of different resources that can help you during this week for Self-Love Awareness Week for Valentine's, lots of courses and meditations on self-love. And obviously we have Honor's courses there, a course called How to Lead a Nourishing Life. So Honor, the workshop that you'll be presenting, The Greatest Relationship that You'll Ever Have, can you just give people a bit of a teaser about what they can expect in that workshop? Because I really encourage everyone to attend that. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited about this. I haven't put things together quite this way before, so I'm excited. It's going to be a different workshop for me to offer, and so what I thought I would do is provide 4 or 5 of my best tips and tools to help us get in the flow so we can create that partnership with life. So, for example, on the iRise app, I have like several really short little things that you can watch. One is called Essence and Flow, and that has to do with sticking with the essence of something. I'm not Essence and Flow, sorry, Essence. What is it? Essence and, oh gosh, Essence and Form. Sorry, Essence and Form. So sticking with the essence of something, how will it feel when I have that? Versus trying to narrow down the form. Well, if I want a relationship, he's going to be, 6 foot this and that and all the details. We let life figure that part out. We just have to know what. So I'm going to be doing things like essence and form, structure and flow. I have several different tools, really simple tools, but that will help you get in the flow and then be in relationship with life and create magic.
Yeah. Wow. Create magic. I'm sure many of us would definitely need that in our lives right now. And you talk a lot about intuition as well, Honor, which I want to kind of just touch on. And once again, in the Q&A that's coming up in a few minutes, I'm sure many people will ask about, intuition. How does, in our lives, in this essence and form that you've talked about, how does intuition feature within that?
Well, I think the intuition piece is our ability to listen to ourselves, to listen to our inner voice, to be in touch with what we're feeling and thinking in the moment. I think so many times, there's so much going on in the moment that we're just not present there. And if you're not present there, what's happening? The only place that life is happening is in the moment, and the only place that change can happen is in the moment. So we want to be in tune in the moment with what we're feeling, what we're thinking, and that guides. From when I was a little kid, I always loved navigating and working with the compass and the map, and so I think there's a big part of navigating our lives from our intuition. And I'm just working on a workshop that I've promised to deliver to iRise that's called Reading Between the Lines, and it's some tools. Again, I like tools. It's some tools to help us be able to deepen that intuition and our ability to do that.
Yeah, it really does remind me when I was a kid and we used to be driving to, I don't know, a holiday destination or somewhere fun, and I'd be sitting in the back of the car. And I used to just go, come on, Dad, when are we getting there? Come on. And I remember my mother actually telling me, look, just enjoy the view. Look out the window. Just enjoy what you're seeing. And I thought, no, it's boring. Lots of fields and whatever. And now, as an adult, I recognize the deep wisdom behind that actually there's so much going on in every moment. There's so much beauty that when we aren't appreciating in every single moment, whether it be looking at just a flower or the beauty of our own children. And because of our very distractible minds and social media and our phones, we're missing the moment. We're totally not even living. We're just existing in some vague illusion of the future that has nothing to do with reality. And I think the work that you're doing and bringing people to that present moment and then navigating life from that place is just so powerful.
Thanks. One of my favorite authors, Jacob Needleman, talks about he has a book called Money and the Meaning of Life. And he talks about how the meaning of life is our ability to live in both worlds at the same time. So to be able to, it's like that this is mirrored. It's that crossover point where we're aware of our inner world, and we're also present in the outer world. And I just love that. To me, it's the most simple explanation of the meaning of life, is just being able to be aware of what I'm experiencing in the moment, and then also participating. So like in this moment, we're live. It's, there's some excitement about it, a little, I'm a little anxious, but I'm aware that that's all going on, and I'm still present with you and talking with you. So it's, I think in those moments, like I said, when, like working at Disney, the moments that I remember were when I was connecting with with another person. I was present with them, and that's because those moments had meaning to me versus a birthday party for a mouse that didn't exist.
I think that's a beautiful way to kind of conclude our interview here. And so for those of you who've enjoyed our chat today, please do come on to the iRise platform. We'll be going live on Zoom with Honor. She'll be here to answer your questions and go deeper into some of the subject matter that we've covered. I can't recommend it enough. So join us at iriseapp.com. You can join us via the website, where if you go to iriseapp.com, click on the live events tab, you'll be able to see the Zoom link for today. And also, if you want to download the app, go to App Store or Play Store, download the app, and you'll also be able to join us for the live event. So, Honor, it's been an absolute honor to be with you today and experience your wisdom and your insights. And any final words you'd like to leave everyone with before we go?
I'd just like to say it's been a pleasure to be here and to finally meet you, Ashok. And also, I love the mission that you guys have with creating this app of uplifting, billions of people. I think that's a wonderful mission. So I support you in everything you're doing, and I've thoroughly enjoyed the app myself.
Oh, fantastic, Honor. That's so nice of you to say. Yes, we're here. iRise, we're on a mission to empower humanity and uplift 1 billion lives. We're here to really make a difference in the lives of everybody by giving everyone the best tools, the curated courses and classes that whatever mental, physical, emotional, spiritual challenge people are facing, or however they want to grow and transform, it's all there on the app for a simple monthly fee. And so we want to make it accessible to everyone on the planet. Definitely. Great. All right. Thank you so much, Anna. And we'll go on to our Q&A in a few moments on Zoom. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And just to let you know, we'll be having a workshop on self-love. I'll be conducting that on Tuesday during Self-Love Awareness Week. So please do join us for that, 7 p.m. on Tuesday, the 15th. And on Thursday, the 17th, we'll be interviewing Anadea Judith, a very known and very well-accomplished author and expert on chakras. We'll be interviewing her at 8 p.m. UK time on Thursday, the 17th. So thank you so much for watching. See you next time, everyone. Goodbye. Bye, everyone.